Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Hello everybody, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Touring Kart Challenge League. This is the second season in its history, and tonight we're excited to be with you for the season opener from iRacing's virtual Daytona International Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida. Maconi Entertainment is here to bring you action from all types of racing, including the weekly Fast Friday series. No matter what you're racing, we can bring the action to life. My name's Justin Prince. Alongside the booth tonight is Arkham Menards racer Braden Laster. Christian Hill is our producer for tonight's coverage here on Maconi Entertainment. Before we get to the conversation of the race, I'd like to remind you tonight's coverage is brought to you by several partners, including Extreme Zone, delighted to be able to offer thrill seekers several different outlets for high adrenaline fun. Whether you put the pedal to the metal on their quarter-mile track with 9 turns and speeds that go up to 40 miles an hour, or you prefer the virtual version with any sports car, or your choice of hundreds of different tracks, you and your party will have a blast. Looking for a new challenge? Toss an axe at our new range of a variety of different projected talent targets, from zombies to tic-tac-toe. Endurance karting, pro karting, and endurance karting were founded back in 2001 in separate states, but shared the same vision: karting for all levels of drivers without the extreme costs and exhausting work associated in participating in motorsports. Gone are the weeks of preparation and trailer hauling, only to have your race end before the checker flag dropped. In 2013, Pro Cup and endurance karting combined to provide the ultimate experience in a ride and drive kart racing. And by Red Mist Podcast. Welcome to our Motorsports Podcast, where we discuss F1, IndyCar, IMSA, NASCAR, our own racing adventures, and some other adventures. Let's talk about the season coming in. It's the start of a new campaign, Braden. Tonight, we start things off with a half-distance version of the Daytona 500, the Daytona 250, 100 laps to start things off in a full-tilt season with plenty of long-distance races and plenty of challenges as a whole.
That brand new season means a brand new opportunity, a brand new chance to create your own story for a lot of these drivers. Some of them new. We have a lot of returning faces. So not just that, but the schedule's taking a complete revamp. You see it there. Charlotte coming up in a couple weeks. Full-length Coke 600, 400 laps there. We got Martinsville, Sonoma. Indianapolis is going to be a great show. Talladega, Daytona, Darlington, Watkins, Kansas, Homestead. A lot of favorites. A lot of good favorites coming up. Not as many road courses as people would have liked to see, but also the season brand new. A new car. They're in the NASCAR Next Gen, replicating the Cup Series versus the Xfinity car that they were in last season. So a lot of new going on this season.
But there is one thing to talk about when it comes to the circuit. With us being at Daytona, it's time for some high speeds, to say the very least. Let's talk about the circuit on hand here tonight. Daytona International Speedway, the world center of racing. 2.5 miles the distance here at Daytona, open since 1959. It's 31 degrees of bank and expecting speeds with the next-gen car of more than 200 miles an hour in the pack, Braden. And that's going to be very critical to control for tonight's festivities with these cars.
Yeah, especially with the next gen, they're very nimble. You gotta be careful on how hard you push, especially with the newer damage model. You can definitely ruin your racing very quickly by just a little bump. And these guys definitely know how to get the most out of their cars. We saw these guys absolutely take it to the house. Even though they don't have the greatest car counts versus most super speedway fields, a lot of these races have 30 plus cars. They still put on a great show, and having friends, having teammates, that's a huge success here. I think these guys know exactly what they're doing.
And as the drivers continue to get the preparations down for tonight, qualifying still has 5 minutes to go for tonight. Let's talk about what some of the expectations for these drivers. Remember, the defending champion in series history, the number 30 car, Alex Penn. He's amongst those actually on track at the moment for the qualifying session in live time. Right now, 15 drivers are currently at the facilities for the start of the new season to see where they will be starting to begin this 100-lapper. It's important to mention for this race tonight as well, Braden, we're expecting a lot of pit stops. There is a 50% fuel limit in this series that crossed over from last year. That's up to 5 stops possibly for a super speedway tonight.
They're going to be looking at around 20 laps or so, coming in at a 100-lap race, depending on how much you're in the draft, really going to shake things up. You might see guys kind of, just like in real life, lowering the overall speed of the pack, not going as hard early on, trying to save that extra lap and a half or so of fuel, be able to save yourself from having to stop. It also depends when and where the cautions fall amongst the race. So I think we're going to see strategy maybe come into play. We saw it come into play hugely last year a couple times. So going to be interesting, though, we end up in a fuel mileage race, and we mentioned having friends here is going to be a huge factor in this one. Second that pit window opens up, you might see 4 or 5 guys separate, and that might be only half of the lead pack that's left running. That could really shake things up. You have 2 different packs trying to push each other down. At that point, all chaos typically ensues. So there's no real rhythm here at Daytona. It's kind of got to hope for the best.
By the way, that is your defending champion, Alex Penn, who decided to go through the grass for his second qualifying lap, and he wants to start last for the day. It's pretty clear. His fastest time was, after all, nearly 30 seconds slower than everybody else in the field. So, we have less than about 4 minutes to work with. There are some newcomers coming out for tonight's festivities. Amongst some of the notables in the field, Riley Skog, who was once one of the top drivers in final practice. Also in the field tonight, David De Silva, who is one of the fastest drivers in the qualifying session we'll talk about in a little bit. And as well, you also throw in drivers like Charles Wembley and more, looking to see what they can do tonight here at Daytona.
De Silva only made 2 starts last season, highlighted by a 10th place at Chicago, but started second in his first race at Auto Club, so not used to starting on that front row, or not, I guess, unfamiliar starting on that front row. He's only done it once in 2 starts, so definitely a great start to him. Not sure what his ambitions are for the season, if he's going to try to run the full schedule or not. But Cowser there in third, had a quick time for a while and barely got beat out, as we're going to go through the grid here in a little bit, but he's going to be rolling off tentatively right now third in his debut. So a lot of new faces, a lot of new names. Something I love about the TKC series is these guys race against each other all the time, both in real life and on sim. So it's not like these are all complete strangers. They know how they race each other, and they know who they can typically trust to take a bump or handle a bump. Something interesting though I did notice, I don't know if Alex Penn was aware, but they only had one actually timed qualifying lap. So Penn, who probably ran a higher line and took his time getting the tires up to optimal temperature, which, every ounce counts here at track like Daytona. Every thousandth of a second can definitely change things up. I don't know if he realized it was only single lap qualifying, and then by the time he realized it was too late. So I'm not sure what the deal is there, but he's definitely going to be rolling off deep in the field.
You never know what could happen at Daytona. Sometimes you want to be at the front, sometimes the back. By the way, let's talk about the series you mentioned. Touring Kart Championship is a real-world series as well that started up in 2021 as it sanctions competitive go-kart races to expand the karting community and regularly holds rental kart sprint and endurance races across the Northeast alongside the Northeast Karting Challenge. They do have experience at tracks like Raceway Park, United Karting, as well as the Trackhouse Motorplex, as well as multiple other venues. For more information on them and to find out how you can join the virtual equivalent here on iRacing, go to touringkartchampionship.com and register to compete. Just less than a minute away from the end of the qualifying session and the starting grid for our first time this year when it comes to this series for this campaign. What are you watching the most for, Braden, here tonight?
I think we're going to see a lot of dominance by Seven Hawthorne. Hawthorne won every single plate race we went to last season, and as of now, he's got a pretty good starting spot, but I think we're going to see him in victory lane at the end of this one. Him and Christian Leonard are basically inseparable. It's like they got super glue held to each other's bumpers, so if those two hook up at any point in this race, I think it's all over for those guys.
All set to go from the World Center of Racing. We're glad to have you with us for tonight's coverage, brought to you by Maconi Entertainment and by Maconi Setup Shop, the official setup shop of eNASCAR, and the home for setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, event promotion, and more here with the iRacing service. Learn more by going to MaconiSetupShop.com or to MaconiEntertainment.com today. It's time to head towards the grid in the next few moments or so. Let's see how they'll start. As they talk about the field itself in session, let's talk about the field, how they'll run tonight. 7 Hawthorne will be your pole sitter tonight at 49.481. David De Silva, 2 1,000ths off the pole. Owen Cowser, Alex Anderson will start row 2. Cowser looking to do well tonight. He's for the Chicago region. Colin Gray starts 5th alongside Brandon Devine in the 6th position in the 57. 7th spot goes to the 10, Ryan Kilbashian, who showed some solid pace at times last year. Christian Leonard in the 43 and 8th. Matt Haas starts off with the 9th position. Robbie Skog rounds out your top 10, Braden.
And Christian Barker going to be rolling off 11th. He made it the round of 8 last year. And Alex Penn, last year's champion overall, to his outside with that slow qualifying time, mowing some grass in the tri-oval here. He's going to be rolling off in 12th. Charles Wimbley, a new kid on the block, going to be in 13th. Kevin Aguilar, we saw him quite a bit. And Mateo Juliano in 15th. We saw him make the playoffs late last year as well, or last season at least. It's been a while, though, since you guys have raced against each other in the NASCAR side of things. So it's going to be interesting, though, to see how things shake up. And also this season, they have a new race control. Dave Gage behind the screen and making the calls from the booth this time around.
He's right now trying to be very thorough to the drivers on pit road procedure to make it simple. Stay to the right side of the racetrack. That's one of his main points on the radio right now. Now, when they go racing here tonight, Braden, what are your keys to win 100 laps, 15 cars? What's it going to take to be P1 at the end of them?
Well, number one, that's all I like to hear. And we only have one fast repair, too, of all things tonight. This is a track where fast repairs can go by very quick. It's like hot butter on an iron pan. So you can definitely melt through those things quicker than you'd like. You know, a couple bad wrecks here, and before you know, they're watching them on pit road. So I think you got to keep your car, you got to keep, their bumper clean, you got to keep your motor no damage, and you don't want to use that fast repair if you can help it. Save it for the very end, if anything, but using it early is definitely not the way you want to have your race go. And like I said, 100 long laps, so we're going to be here for at least an hour and a half, 2 hours. That can be very demanding physically and mentally on some of these drivers, so keeping a calm, cool, and collected head is a big key, I think, to success as well.
Let's take a look at your Maconi Setup Shop race analysis for tonight to emphasize things. On top of those 100 laps in the fast repair, fixed setups in this series, there are also 4 total sets in the race available tonight. 1 in the car, 3 in the pit lane. Quite simply, with us expecting to go only half the distance of a normal run in these cars, expect a lot of 2-tire pit stops to get the job done. That could cause some trouble, by the way, Braden. These cars get light the more the tires wear out at the next-gen variety.
They're going to be interesting to see how guys try to stagger those pit stops with the tires. We're going to have more pit stops than we do tire sets, which is definitely obscurity we have seen, I guess, in recent years on the iRacing platform. Typically, guys just love throwing tires at their drivers and kind of changing things up a little bit, making you have to strategize. And, at Daytona, tire is not a huge deal, but, on restarts, it can help out hugely here. And, every inch counts, especially when it comes to NASCAR racing. We saw in the real world, a couple nights ago at Kansas, a Cup Series, an inch was the difference between the winning and second place. So it'd be really cool if we have a photo finish like that. I think every little ounce is going to count, including maybe that last set there at the very end.
So the last few moments of the drivers' meeting being completed before we get the festivities going on the racetrack. We'll see how tonight goes the next few moments or so, as it's a pair of Toyotas that'll be in control for when we take the green for the first time in Season 2. A 22 race campaign, a big expansion from the first season, by the way. A lot of races. This is going to be important throughout the season. Get consistency to get to the postseason in August.
Especially, I believe, too, they're going with the same format they did last year, which is a win and you're in. So getting a cheap, nice win here can definitely make the rest of the season go a lot easier. I have a crazy stat for you here, JP. Kevin Hawthorne, you mentioned, got 3rd last year in the championship, won 5 races, never started from the pole. Tonight, he's starting from the pole in his very first attempt in Season 2.
Drivers' meeting now complete in session. Here's your conditions. Dynamic sky for tonight. 93 degrees is your track temperature. 80 degrees currently the air temperature. That's interesting because you know what the forecast was coming into the session? About 5 degrees lower than this. It is 2 times the speed in terms of the sky for tonight's festivities, Braden. So there's a chance with us having a 4 o'clock start in sim, we definitely finish under the lights in the end.
Now, like I mentioned, 100 laps can really take, depending on how many cautions we have. They're looking at about an hour and a half if it goes green. There's only about an hour and 50 in the time of the race session. So we might actually run out of time and have an ARCA moment, I guess, and have to call the race early. So that's how much time we're going to have to watch, too. These guys can't get themselves under control and keep wrecking and having a caution fest. We're going to have to watch that clock quite a bit here. With that 5-minute drivers meeting, that actually ate quite a bit into it as well.
The pace car now rolls for the first time this season. So 1 full pace lap to get us going here at the 2.5-mile super speedway here in Florida. So now as we prepare for tonight's race, once again, a reminder that tonight's action brought to you by Maconi Entertainment. We're glad to have you with us for tonight's festivities here from Daytona. Any final thoughts before we get to racing for the first time this season?
I know this is a track that I've had the opportunity that I'm very thankful to actually race here. I've had raced here in real life. And things happen quick. Just like they do in real life, they're going to happen quick on iRacing. And these guys have got to keep a calm, cool, and collected head. I think that's the biggest thing to it. thinking you only have 14 or 15 cars in the field means you can get front as quick as you want, but you gotta play it smart. You have that one faster pair, but don't waste it.
Drivers looking to try and play things smart to start off the new season. 100 laps your distance here at iRacing's virtual Daytona International Speedway for TKC and its Season 2 opener. And I think the main thing being emphasized too, be smart. It's a long season, Braden. You can get the win, yeah. You still want to make friends on the way.
And we saw beef definitely come into a huge effect, I guess, late in the season last time out. So these guys, nice fresh restart, getting ready to change things up and create their own storylines here.
100 laps up on the board. We're glad to have you with us for tonight's coverage here on Maconi Entertainment for the TKC season opener, the Daytona 250. Green flag is out. We're underway from the World Center of Racing. And how about that? The Toyota's already saying, let's go top side already. All of a sudden, we've got Railroad Style Racing. This is the preferred line to get around with this car, as seen at tracks like Dago with this package. They're already getting to work and already making a change for the lead. 7 Hawthorne starts with the first lap of the season. De Silva looking for the second.
That Hawthorne tried to lead the field down in the bottom. No one went with him. Now he's going to get help from Ryan Kabashian. Had to actually pull out a line, started blinking there, going down the backstretch. Kabashian, known on social media as Kilbo Racing, has actually quite a decent following on the TikTok side of things. Still somewhat new to iRacing. He was a bit of a storyline last season. Doesn't have a whole lot of experience in the super speedways and kind of tried by fire. And this is a great showing so far in the first lap and a half or so for Kabashian.
And already, this showing the signs of patience being a virtue when it comes to tonight. De Silva leading the second time around in the Toyota line. Already, drivers like Colin Kowser doing the same. Kevin Aguilar, with everyone going high side, took advantage to already gain 7 spots in less than 3 laps.
If you're going to gain them, might as well gain them quick, but we're starting to see this front pack shuffle a little bit. We got one driver letting go to the bottom. That's Matt Haas, last year's regular season champion, going to try to get some help down there. So far, no one's going with him. Here comes Kabashian, though, one more time. The only one helping out these guys on the bottom, it seems. They're not really able to get formed up and get a line going. So far, just all training around the outside wall.
And it's important to mention throughout the night tonight, if you don't have experience with this package, it can get wild the amount of runs you get throughout the field. For example, keep in mind that out inside line. That's going to be a challenging one to get to work unless you've got the track position to then tandem and work ahead. You're going to see a lot of people go back and forth, and as a result of the different lines or crash high side like that into the wall going Grace. They're 5 wide down the backstretch. Everybody saves it.
Everyone able to keep it going straight. I don't know how Alex Penn evasive action down to basically the inside wall as far as he could. Actually going to pick up quite a few spots, but Kevin Hawthorne, Leonard, Kevin Aguilar, all with a little bit of damage and no one catastrophic, but I don't know how they kept it straight there.
Extremely lucky, to say the least. Grace did avoid damage, and that separated us into 2 different packs as a result. About 6 cars breaking away, everybody else losing at least 2 seconds from the stack up. That's going to be the biggest challenge at Daytona, I think, Braden. Running the preferred line without putting yourself in the wall.
Yeah, that's exactly what you saw there. They kind of all got together, and one bump gone wrong, it stacked them up. You had guys going 3, 4, 5 wide, even in the backstretch, to try and make it stick. And this second pack isn't formed up at all. I mean, they're 2-3 wide, not really pushing each other, and almost a couple mini groups of 2 right now with 7 Hawthorne leading that second pack. I think they're building some nice momentum on that first pack. Holding Cowards is going to be their first target to get to, but Christian Leonard and 7 Hawthorne, we talked about these two. These two worked together excellently last year, and to get Hawthorne and Leonard in the victory lane multiple times, and they're definitely make up a ton of time on that first pack, about half a second.
They're already having a lot of chatter last time by to get to the high side, get organized. That's been the fast and efficient line when it comes to speed in this package. Now, as they start to sort things out here and just about close the packs back up, the driver they're preparing to pick up the draft from is the 91 Hohenkhauser. That is a familiar name these days here on Maconi Entertainment. He just so happened to see, I think, all the racing going on here and said, you know what, I want to give this a try. After all, I want to get some karting experience pretty soon, get some real-world experience. Why not race against some of the real-world karters?
Exactly. Also, if you remember, TKC hosted a real length or a full-length Daytona 500 last year, and Hohenkhauser took place in that and was, running up front for a decent amount of it, instead of top 10, top 15. Like you mentioned, also part of the Fast Fridays quite a bit here on Maconi Entertainment. And so far, pretty solid showing, though. He's about to get overtaken by that second pack, and they're swallowing him up as fast as they're getting there. But so far, though, fourth car on the outside.
And the packs have, as expected, closed up here, but the inside line's got solid numbers. Kilbashian, he's been trying to bash his bumper into the back end of the 8 machine. Matt Haas has been able to make up the ground to the bottom. He's one of the few to get the bottom line to work because of Kilbashian's efforts.
Kilbashian pushing the Matt Haas, trying to get the lead, not able to quite get it. Last time by 11 hundredths of a second, David De Silva over Matt Haas. The inside, though, still trying to get formed up, pushing together. They got decent amount of numbers, not as much as I think they would like, but they're a little more tightened up, the top 3 are, versus the outside. And I think that's why they're able to get side by side. We got one driver abandoning ship. I believe that's Alex Penn.
And does indeed pull the ejector cord, and that just broke up the entire inside line.
Yeah, that's how quick things can really fall back here. Pin on that third car being in the inside, pulls out Ejectocito and the whole entire inside line starts to fall back, and they're going to have to take another lap or so to really rebuild the momentum.
You know the wild thing about last season, by the way, with the opening campaign for TKC, that has very quietly ended up picking up the regular season championship, or at least he put his own stake to that claim. He ran as high as 3rd at Bristol last year in that 8 car.
Yeah, he actually had a pretty solid season going, and I think he's a big contender when we come to super speedways. He almost won at Talladega last year, was leading or in the lead, I guess, for a good portion, if I recall correctly, the last half or so, the last lap, and lost at the line at 7 Hawthorne and Leonard. So he knows how to be up front and lead laps here at these races. So I think he's definitely going to be a contender, looking for his first TKC National Series win, though, and I think if he's going to get it, might as well get it here.
Technical issue warning, Ryan Kilbashian. He's been having some issues from the onset. Race control just told him if it appears again, they will tell him to drop to the back of the field here. Now, interestingly enough, he hasn't had too much iRacing experience over the years. He's got a grand total of 64 official starts.
Well, I remember a big storyline last year for Kilbashian was he literally got iRacing halfway through the season and just ran rookie street stocks at Charlotte. So they didn't want to go play with the big boys and ran the full-length Daytona 500 here at TKC. It was actually in the top 10 for a good portion of the race, and that was his first real super speedway race. And I remember talking to him a little bit before and afterwards. He was really excited, and like I said, he has a huge following over on the TikTok side doing NASCAR montages and edits. So over on Kilbo Racing, I mean, a huge following. So it's pretty neat to see him finally start to get some opportunities here on iRacing around the TKC guys.
You know, the interesting thing is, you see at the very back of the field what Alex Penn's doing. I'm surprised Alex Penn hasn't lost himself to draft. He is swerving back and forth almost like he's bored down the straightaways and in the corners.
Side to side like a roller coaster. Alex Penn's kind of playing behind games. He's just chilling, I guess. I mean, if they wreck, I guess he's going to have to pick a lane, stick with it. David De Silva, though, has led almost every lap. Only led 6 laps last season in 2 starts. And 1 start, though, he's going to lead at least 10. But new leader, Ryan Kabashian, to the lead. Talk about storylines. Him and Matt Haas slingshotted around De Silva while Penn was slippery sliding in the back. And Kabashian said, bye, Matt, have a good time. And to the lead, to the outside, and here comes Ryan Kabashian in the 10.
That was after a strong tandem, but Matt Haas had not elected to go up top with Kilbashian. And now Ryan running more so middle, trying to see where everyone else is going on the swerve. Pit stops expected in the next couple laps, by the way. The estimated window, as you said, up to 20 laps, give or take, here today. There's already been some conversation on trying to get some pit groups together to try and enter the lane together.
So having friends on pit stops is definitely going to be a huge factor. If you're able to get 4 or 5 guys, that might be a little bit quicker than a group of 10. So Kabashian might be the odd man out because he doesn't run with TKC as much. You got Touring Kart, we're talking about in the wall actually. So he's a new kid on the block. He might not have any friends to work with because you're going to have to go when everyone else does. But take a look at what he did around the wall is not definitely the way they want to do it.
And same can be said with Colin Grace, who's already put it on the wall once. He is also nearly spinning it around in some of these corner exits. This gets back to the tire wear conversation. At Talladega during Dega weekend, officials, Braden, a lot of people got a very light once they wore in the tires. You can't change lanes coming out of the corner exits without a risk of spin or into the corners. You especially can't just keep it foot down to the floor or else you're going to spin it.
Oh, especially if you got someone right behind them taking the air off that spoiler or lifting the rear tires up off the ground. If you get in their back bumper, that's a good way to go around very quickly. And the more and more laps are going to put on these tires. You mentioned only 3 sets in the pit, so you can't take tires every single time to stop. You got to kind of spread them out a little bit, and they might come key to a late race restart. So I think it's going to be interesting to see these guys try to manage tire wear. I can't believe we're talking about tire wear at Super Speedway, but they're going to have to figure it out.
I can tell you this. It is very much becoming very prevalent in this car. It's not like any other super speedway package beforehand or since, really yet on iRacing, where you basically almost have to battle the car more than anything else, not just the draft. Matt Haas, meanwhile, has moved up top with Grace. Everybody else has, instead of running the wall, decided to run the inside. Keeps them up for grabs for some side draft here for a couple of these cars. But with everyone thinking about when to dive down, it's not a shock. We'll see how many drivers are able to leapfrog here and gain some track position, like Riley Skog, who's trying to do so too.
Skog, a new kid on the block. Colin Grace going tries to have a 3 wide, instead going to fall to the back. They're 3 wide, almost behind them. Charles Rimley's stuck behind Skog in that 84 purple machine. So they're all trying to get around Skog, who they on to his bottom. Try and make up some lost ground as well. I think we're going to see pit stops start to form here in a little bit. But everyone getting single file for the most part. First 5 cars now single file on the bottom. Matt Haas and Colin Grace trying to do outside charge to no avail.
Estimated window to open up in 5 laps. So far, Skog's been running around the midfield out of our entrance here today. Looks like he's backing it up, especially since some others are going full tandem in front. Matteo Giuliano is also amongst those you see trying to take advantage of all this. He started dead last in this field. It was one of the drivers, quite simply, trying to keep it cool, man. Trying to make sure that everyone else was at peace for the start of the season.
Well, Giuliano played race control role for most of last season, if I can recall correctly. Now he's trying to take the lead from Kabashian. He's got help from Matt Haas. These two worked together quite a bit, I know, to run TKC and make things go smoothly. So they're working together on the outside, though, making it work. We talked about the outside being superior earlier in the run. I think it still is, because Kabashian led everyone to that bottom. His lack of experience. Kabashian's going to let the outside go, doesn't move up the block, and big bumps up from Matt Haas.
Just couldn't get him clear. Giuliano forced to reset one more time. Some of the drivers inside line started to hit the yellow line even though. Now, it's going to be interesting if anybody comes in before lap 20. That's a panic time if you come in before lap 20 probably tonight. If you go in after lap 20, how far can you stretch it is going to be the big question on some people's minds for the future strats.
Oh, we got Ryan Sebastian, their leader, blanking actually that time by through the corner. Not quite as nerve-wracking for the Silva, but Silva doesn't know where to push, doesn't know if to go outside. Sebastian back, and the Silva does back bumper, but if you pit before 20, you're basically giving yourself a deficit as far as pit stop. You have to pit one more time compared to everyone else. So everyone else should be pitting on around 20, 40, 60, 80, 4 stops, give or take for these guys, depending on cautions, but so once you drivers start to flock to the bottom. I tried to pit from the outside, got caught at their inside. So Juliano, Matt Haas, Con Grace, and Skog on the outside right now.
A lot of people talking about pit stop time. Some people say next time by, even on the radio, and that's what we just talked about. Have to make the full 20 to make the through. Grace again is in the wall, and just about everybody now making room to the bottom. Matt Haas cannot make it to the end of lap 20. He can only make it to the end of lap 19.
Fast leader coming in this time.
A lot of panic as several more like Grace and more are coming in this time. It's pits party time for the first time this season.
Got to get it down slow, 60-mile-an-hour pit speed. Sebastian, though, real slow, way before the stop. This pack, I think, is going to lose a ton of times because they checked up a little too much. Scott going about 45 miles an hour, way too slow. Cows, though, trying to make a move on Sebastian in the pits. So we're maybe 5-6 car pack here, all pitting fuel, maybe tires. I don't see any jacks. Con Grace taking tires. That might set him apart from the rest of this field. Drivers are already pulling away. This might not work out very good for Grace.
Already the pit party getting drivers off and away pretty smoothly, but now they are on the back end in terms of strat. Second pack, they're looking more solid on fuel. De Silva and Moore have just pit at the end of the racetrack. So far, no speeding penalties. In fact, every driver has avoided a speeding penalty today.
Kevin Hawthorne, Christian Leonard, and Kevin Aguilar are the only 3 drivers not pitting. They were staying out, trying to work together and build a gap to the rest of the pack. But we're going to see what the Silva and company do. I don't see any jacks for these drivers. Actually, Charles Wimby taking tires, so that might set him apart. On the right side, though, so that might be a bit of a difference compared to Colin Grace, who lost contact with that first pack. He's got Riley Skog, and that's about it. So gonna be interesting to see where they come out. Hawthorne should be pitting this time by. He's not. I don't know how him and Leonard saved this much. Kevin Aguilar now pitting by himself. And they're going to leapfrog that first pack.
Wow, that is a huge advantage. Not a surprise it's those two, though, that find a way to do something, but 7 seconds? That's pretty massive if I understand the interval correctly. Yeah, that is extremely huge.
Well, they still got a pit, Sam Hawthorne and Christian Leonard do.
Yes, thank you very much for the correction. But that's going to help them long term because they're going to be able to save a lot of time if they're able to keep this markup for every pit stop later to have a big lead like this again.
100%. I think they're actually going quite a bit quicker than the field is together bunched up because they're still trying to get together and they're able to slow down at their own pace. We talked about Ryan Sebastian led that first pack in, and he showed up a little too early. His lack of experience, I think that's why this first pack lost 3 to 4 seconds on that front pack, now led by David De Silva, Alex Anderson, and Charles Wimbley in that first pack leading. Now they have quite a bit of an advantage over that second pack. The second pack has formed up a little bit nicer. Going to be interesting to see. They're coming through 3 and 4 this time. Hawthorne and Leonard now just leaving pits. They might get a huge advantage here.
We'll see where the times fully cycle. Yeah, they're still gonna have a pretty solid lead. Not 7 seconds, but they are gonna have a very large sizing gap here.
I think they should follow in right to the middle, I think, in between pack 1 and 2 here, but able to get up to speed. They're going to get caught coming off of turn 2. Pull up right in front of De Silva. This first pack going to have to go wide. That's going to slow them up a little bit, but I think this is going to allow that second pack actually chance to pick up some more numbers to catch that front pack. They're going about 193, 194. Hawthorne and Leonard about 184, 185. They should be able to catch that first pack, and I think they're going to be the bridge that ties us all together.
So, in the race lead here is De Silva. Anderson, Wembley, and Devine have all hooked up together here. Of those in the pit lane, Devine had the quickest pit stop in the field, a 26.8 in the lane in general for tonight's festivities. So we'll see how they go in terms of pit stops in already less than 20 minutes time. Next pit stop, what do we expect to open on lap 40? Amongst those who lost the draft though, and this is critical, Skog, Grace, and Barker have all lost 7 seconds on the leaders.
Now they're all together, so they're not going to go a lap down. I don't think they're actually running only about half a second, if that or so, off of the lead pack here, which they've all gotten together nice and tight in one big single file line. So Seven Hawthorne and Leonard played a duct tape role in there, and Bridge just filled together.
Yeah, complete flip of the script for some drivers. They'll need the script to be flipped back towards their direction. They want to have some luck here. This is a series, remember, that has had plenty of races trend green. Cautions can be very difficult to find here for this one. But amongst those also now the conversation is Wembley. One of the newcomers doing well with the aerial works machine. We'll talk about that more in the next few moments. Currently at the quarterway mark, complete this time by the stripe. You're watching the TKC National Series on Maconi Entertainment. We'll be back after this.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to tonight's coverage of TKC, where single file just went to side by side, as Alex Penn has made it clear single file is not what he wants right now. He's trying to push Owen Kauser forward, and right now several others are trying to follow them to get to the front of this main group. Penn, remember, was the one who went back and forth in each of the different lanes, waiting to see what would happen, and now he's saying it's time to go already.
Now, knocking on wood here, we've been caution-free the first 29 laps of this one, although been a little contact in the middle of the field. So far, the last handful of laps have been pretty clean. Going to be interesting to watch the Hoying Kauser, Mateo Juliano, Sebastian, and Matt Haas. Those 4 drivers pitted a little bit earlier than the rest of the field, about a lap or so. So they're going to have to pit as little as 10 laps. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to extend that a little bit, get to about 40 or so before they come in one more time. Meanwhile, you got Seven Hawthorne and Christian Leonard that pitted later than everyone else. I think they're going to be good. And they might end up winning this just by virtue of not having to pit as much.
especially since, in theory, you might be able to save a couple seconds in the pit lane in terms of the final fuel load at within 20 laps to go for this one. We might see that happen. It's going to be interesting if it does. Let's put it that way. Now, here's the interesting thing, by the way. The king of super speedway races last season, Seven Hawthorne himself. He won at Daytona, Atlanta, as well as Talladega, a part of the campaign in the 18 camp.
Yeah, he was absolutely dominant at the super speedways. Anytime they went, you expected Seven Hawthorne to be up front in command. So far, quite hasn't had that same dominance as we've seen. Started on pole, I think barely led the first lap over to Silva, but that was the last we pretty much saw of him. He kind of got back there a little. They played their own game during the pit cycle. I think it's going to work out long run for them, but they're just kind of chilling right in the middle of the pack, kind of waiting for something to happen.
I mean, quite simply, do you want to be the race leader and burn up a lot more fuel with 50% fuel load in a car that burns a lot of fuel by being the leader? The silence says no.
That's definitely going to be interesting to see by De Silva, just in virtue of leading the most laps and being out front. He's going to burn about a lap or so more extra across the run, maybe even more than that, depending on how hard he's going. But some teams, he's able to control the pace of the race. You know, if he's not able to make as far, he can kind of run 3/4 throttle and save that extra lap or so and kind of slow down the whole field. We see it in real life. I'm sure we can see it on iRacing too.
Less than 10 laps away from that said pit window we're talking about here. But De Silva still controlling the momentum up front. He's working with Alex Anderson, who's almost taken on the leadership role, who has been overseeing a lot of the calls about early calls. He was amongst those telling people, don't follow that strategy, follow my strategy. It seems to have been working well amongst the Toyota drafting line to keep him inside the top 3, really, much of the race.
That so far the single file line, I think it's helping out a lot of these guys like Anderson, like Wembley, like De Silva, able to kind of maintain that pace and pretty solid advantage over the outside. You gotta go about 5-6 cars back to find the first car on the outside. Horn, Cowser, and Alex Pin working together, but I don't think they quite have the numbers or the momentum like the inside does. It's about a 2-to-1 ratio inside to outside, and they're just not able to build a momentum like they were earlier in the race.
Reference. Anderson has 4 years of experience on the iRacing platform, 11 years in terms of the go-karting realm. Looks like he nearly sent it on to Silva. De Silva left the door wide open for a minute.
That's something about Daytona. You leave the door open at any point. Expect the competition to fill that door. And Anderson thought about it. He's got some help. The Wembley's right on that back bumper. These 3 cars almost kind of breaking away down the straightaways. And then Devine and Holding Cows are able to build a run. Brandon Devine is a driver we didn't talk about much in the pre-race show, but he's a driver that showed a lot of strength last season just through perseverance. I think he made it to the final, the round of 8 there in the playoffs. And he was always a fierce competitor, always there at the end. Just bad luck struck him when he didn't need it most. So Brandon Devine currently inside the top 5, having a great run to start this season.
Single file runs the bottom of the racetrack. So far looking very great on time for those curious, by the way. About near 30 minutes into the racing action itself here tonight on the racetrack. An interesting point, someone just asked a simple question. How long do we have on time if necessary? Race Control's response, 101. I think that tightness is via design. Let's put it that way with the distance tonight.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted these guys to go out here and, cause a caution fest, and by having a time restriction, that way everyone's in bed at, by their bedtime. So I don't know what these guys' bedtimes are, but no one's mom is going to be screaming at them.
I mean, most people don't have bedtimes anymore. I mean, do you have a bedtime?
You guys don't have bedtimes?
No, I just go to sleep as soon as I feel tired. Doesn't everybody else?
No, I thought everyone had a bedtime.
I mean, okay. All that being considered, it's single file time at the bottom this time, which means it's one more thing to think about. Talking about strategy for pit stops. The weather itself, by the way, is looking very lovely. It's the main talking point of the radio now. The track temperature is still around 93 degrees Fahrenheit. The air temperature is still higher than anything projected in the sim, interestingly enough, via the weather forecast.
Yeah, I have no doubts whatsoever that we're in Florida the way this weather, especially the track and the sun and the cloud coverage has been up and down throughout the whole race. The track temp, though, has been pretty stable, but yeah, I have no doubts whatsoever. This is definitely Florida.
I mean, the only thing we haven't had yet is rain. That happens a lot over the course of 10 minutes, and then it goes very dry after all. That's a Florida thing. Well, an iRacing on the ovals, that is not an iRacing oval thing, and a Florida thing, so no worry of rain today. Give it a year. We'll see if there's accidental rain eventually. I've heard that actually is an interesting talking point. Go ahead.
I believe you can get rain on an oval session. There's a way you can break it or something like that. I'm not exactly sure how, if it's been fixed, but I think we should do the Coke 600, all 400 laps in the rain.
Well, first of all, it's been fixed. Second, those who have tried to break it recently crashed the sim for the entire field because they hit the blue cone while raining.
Don't hit the blue cone. That's all I'm going to say. Don't drive through. There's two golden rules about Daytona. Don't hit the cones and don't hit the grass, or you will be getting an invoice.
Or, quite simply, don't break the sim. The sim will break back.
It fights back. You know what's fighting back as well as some of these guys is their patience. I'm sure we're going to see some green flag pit stops once again. Who would have thought 2 green flag pit stop cycles in a row? Some of these guys are definitely going to be pushing the next lap and a half or so. To Silva, especially considering he's led almost this entire second half. But they're going to be 2 or 3 wide. Matt Haas on holding cows in the back. Mateo Juliano and Alex Penn leading this outside. I don't know where they got ahead of steam from, but they are smoking out the top.
Already, Matt Haas trying to play the different runs here. Now with Giuliano, also getting help from Penn. There's a look at those conditions one more time with dynamic sky conditions. The sunset projection here for today's race. Still a few hours out, by the way. Expecting to be mostly cloudy for the entire race per the forecast. So it's going to be an interesting window. 91 pitting this time by. Pit window coming in. Grace and Skog also indicating they will need to come in. In fact, believe they've already came in the second pack.
Yeah, they were actually in that third pack, remember, 10 seconds off the lead pack by themselves. So playing a different strategy. We got some guys that are coming in behind them.
It looks like, no, I think they faked each other out. There's a lot of, yeah, go ahead.
They're on the radio with everything, this time, not this time, this time, not this time. So they're going to go around and lap Skog and Colin Grace here. It's going to be interesting to see with that lap traffic on the apron. Everyone able to keep it going. Now everyone's saying this time, this time, this time. We'll see if anyone actually comes down low. We have a couple drivers pushing 21 laps. Holling Kauser, Matt Haas, Mateo Juliano, Sebastian, all at 21 laps this time by.
A great job by De Silva. The pack speeds averaging about 190 much of the run. They were able to push the tempo, the pace down and save to get back in the window for a 4-stop. Their muscles leaning in with Wembley, Devine and Moore in the lane this time by. Alex Anderson got left out to dry with everyone else.
That's going to split the packs in half. They're coming up on Christian Barker, the lead pack is, so he's going to go a lap down as of now, but Anderson, Leonard, Hawthorne, and Aguilar all stay out. So you're going to have a pack of 4, and then you see the rest of the field, for the most part, all in pits. I don't think anyone took tire shocking, only fuel. So tire wear is definitely going to become a huge factor here. 40-plus laps from these bad boys.
Couple drivers getting very close to unsafe pit exits there with the yellow blend line. At the end of the racetrack, only one coming in. Alex Anderson just pit on his own. How's that going to flare out, though, with him trying to cycle to get to these cars again?
I'm not sure what happened to Ryan Kabashian. Kabashian's about 5 or 6 seconds off the pack he came in with. So Kabashian lost a ton of time on the pit cycle. Yeah, he just couldn't find a stall. He just lost where he was on pit road and had to back up. So heartbreaking for Ryan Kabashian, going to need a caution to get back in this one. But going to be interesting to see where these drivers start to pull out.
So, This is the pack of drivers who have already pit so far. Anderson has come out from the lane and will likely get towards the back end of this group. Wembley, De Silva, Devine, and Penn are all on the same strategy. They have ditched Hoeing-Kauser, as well as Giuliano and Haas, along with Kilbashian, of course, with his issues. As expected, Leonard and Hawthorne able to stretch it much further this run, but Kevin Aguilar has found a way to cycle to those same cars. There's a look, though, the 67, by working with the 3 others staying out an extra lap, just may have nearly cycled to the lead, but obviously not going to be able to hold it off.
That didn't want to try and block the speed difference about 15 miles an hour there. Expected Leonard and Hawthorne in. They should be coming in this time. Maybe no. They're going to stay out one more time. They're actually building a pretty decent buffer. Kevin Aguilar, on the other hand, is going to come in. It's going to be Christian Leonard and 7 Hawthorne. There are only 2 left out there that have yet to pit. So it's going to be interesting to see where they come out. Last time, they were the bridge between the first and the second pack. As far as this time, we do have a second pack formed. It's only 3 cars of Hoeing-Kauser, Matt Haas, and Mateo Juliano, about 3 seconds off of the 5-car breakaway of Alex Penn, Anderson, Devine, De Silva, and Wembley. So going to be interesting to see, though, where everyone falls in line at.
So the 2 teammates and friends, expect them to come in pretty soon, obviously. They've been able to extend it at least 2 to 3 laps further than everybody else each stint so far. There goes Leonard. Hawthorne this time goes for the lead of his pack. That was near speeding. Just avoided the speeding penalty.
Well, I've noticed they keep switching it up every time they come in. Last time, 7 Hawthorne led them in. He actually let Leonard take the lead on exit. Don't know if that's intentional or not. But I'm not going to lie. I'm starting to like this. I think once all said and done, they might save themselves from having to do a whole extra stop compared to everyone. It's going to be tight. Leonard out pit lane a lot earlier than Hawthorne, a lot quicker of a stop. Meanwhile, Charles, Wembley, De Silva are just now coming into the tri-oval. So they're going to get to them. It's going to be a matter of Hawthorne can catch up low.
Yeah, that's going to be hurtful for them. We might see Leonard back it up to try and get back to Hawthorne at least, but they are going to be in 2 different parts at the least for this pack. Hawthorne going to get trapped as those drivers who have already pit zip by. Leonard will have to let them on by, and it looks like we can confirm this. Hawthorne didn't get up to speed enough, might need Leonard to be his bridge.
Yeah, being able to get behind that lead pack is able to build up a little bit of a gap to Leonard and get together, but I don't think they're going to get to the lead pack here, so that might have hurt Leonard and Hawthorne there. They might just have to hope a caution or their strategy works out for the better. Yeah, they're definitely going to lose that lead pack and maybe each other.
Yeah, that is not what they needed at all. They needed to come out together, get the speed built up together, stay in the pack. Not now. And now they'll have to work with Giuliano, Haas, Kauser, and Aguilar. Those drivers all are about 5-6 seconds behind the leaders, trying to catch back up to close the packs up.
Yeah, they're getting pit stop time. 7 Hawthorne actually had the second slowest time, about 2 seconds slower than the rest of the field. So it's going to catch up to Christian Leonard, and these 2 are going to try to get together. But they have Mateo Juliano, Matt Haas, and Hoeing-Kauser behind them, so they do have hope. They have a 5-car pack. You're now trying to chase down another 5-car pack. So it's going to be a matter of who can bump better.
They are trying to work a lot on the radio, too, to try and sort things out. They are, interesting enough, saying no triple car tandems. That is a common trait with the next-gen car. You can bump with 3 cars in a row if the 3rd car gets a little tap to the 2nd car. That 2nd car gives the big shoves to the 1st car. You let the 2nd car breathe through the corners, line it back up so they all carry the momentum in a similar fashion each straightaway. Not today. Leonard saying, don't do that.
Meanwhile, we got Charles Wembley in the 3-car, started 3rd from last, leading the field though in this 5-car breakaway to David De Silva, Brand Devine, Alex Penn, Alex Anderson. They have about 5-second buffer to Hawthorne and company. So they got 6 cars in that second group: Hawthorne, Leonard, Juliano, Haas, Kauser, and Aguilar, all trying to chase down and work together that lead pack. We're coming up towards the halfway point, so if they're able to get together and gain a little over a 10th lap, it's very easy to do and very possible.
So Charles Wembley, originally started off in 14th position, is an interesting one because if you look towards the history on his name and how he's done in the racing series, well, he just so happens to be a driver with the NASCAR College iRacing Series experience with Guilford College. Now, he has competed in the second split for those series, the non-broadcasted split for the college series, and has come away with a couple victories at that level.
So they're looking for his first TKC National Series win on what I believe is his debut. Look at this top 5. Only one driver even has a win in the TKC National Series last season. That was Alex Penn, your season champion. So Wimby, De Silva, Devine, and Anderson all looking for their first TKC National win. That second pack, JP, is absolutely flying.
They are absolutely with the cars starting to line up in that second pack. Just to put a kicker in terms of the Wembley storyline, he also competes in the non-eNASCAR sanctioned series for the colleges, the Collegiate iRacing League, which is a big series to be able to build experience amongst the college ranks and for the college programs across North America. He finished top 5 overall in the last season for that. Also, he is one of those people who puts iRacing stats on LinkedIn.
I love that. I should start doing that. Speaking of getting linked in, Riley Skog is about to get linked into this lead pack here. About to be the only driver one lap down, just lost the rest of the field. So he's going to be able to catch on, hopefully, and hook up to this lead pack. Hopefully he doesn't let page the field. He's going to go high. Here comes the first 5 to his bottom. So Skog going to try to get to the bottom of this pack as they go by and just fall in line.
So a driver with experience in SODIW series competition, able to let drivers on by quickly and efficiently. Just keeping it clean and keeping it smooth. But you were talking about the pace differentials here. 46 threes being turned by those in the main pack at the halfway mark of this race. In the other pack, they're 0.3 of a second quicker. All they need to do is get within about 1.5, 2 seconds just about, and they can get quickly back to being closed up by the time of the pit stop start.
They have no doubt at all that second pack is going to catch up to this first pack, and that something crazy happens. Something crazy, though, being the different fuel mileage strategy by Hawthorne and Leonard. They are going to have to pit with that second pack and completely throw their strategy out the window. So pitting 5 or 6 laps sooner than they would have liked, I imagine, especially leading the second pack as well. So if they want any hope of trying to win the race, I think they got to pit with the second pack and keep the numbers high.
So just past the cross flags here for tonight's coverage of TKC National Series action here on Maconi Entertainment. Wembley, still your race leader for those just tuning in. He had the lead for the halfway point of this one. De Silva's led much of the way. He's now saving fuel after leading 27 laps today. Brendan Devine, yet to lead, is in third. Alex Penn, yet to lead. He's in fourth, the defending series champion. Anderson closing out the top 5. That lap car is the pink and black machine at the tail end of this grouping. Hawthorne and Leonard are leading the second pack, by the way, and are almost back within drafting distance for the start of this pit stop sequence. Overall, Brayden, what have you noted when it comes to tonight? What do you keep an eye on in turn for the second half of this race?
I'm kind of shocked that Hawthorne hasn't really been in command or in control at all of the front lead pack at all. I think he's only led 1 lap and hasn't really been up front since. And again, he won every super speedway race last year, got his first pole this race for the TKC National Series. But he's been with Leonard the whole race. So I think it's going to be a good strategy if it works out for them and they're able to get that lead pack. I expect we can see Hawthorne hopefully back up front and in center here in a handful of laps. As this time by, the difference is that they're going to pick up a ton of time, 2.8 seconds from the leader to 7 Hawthorne. So only about 2 seconds already from the last car in the lead pack to Hawthorne. And then they got Riley Skog too, who's actually trailing behind that lead pack, kind of playing the bridge effect as well to Hawthorne. So they're going to catch him even sooner.
I was just about to mention that too. That's going to be another car. It's a couple more tenths to close up on. Right now, they are just at the doorstep of being in range to get back in that pack as a result. 191 miles an hour to the main pack's 190 down the straightaways. Yeah, they're going to get them. And going to get them pretty quickly. Now it's the question, though. Do they hang on to the back end of the choo-choo train or try and gain track position before the pit stop?
Well, I was just thinking that they want to get to that backpack. They're going to have a ton of momentum. And it's going to be very easy for someone in that lead pack to pull up and try to lead the outside and might force them 3 or even 4 wide. But the famous saying, if gap, race car.
Yes, there is room for gaps in race cars here to be able to make passes. You don't want to be the one who sends a pit stop, though. Well, after making the gaps work, you decide, I have to pit right now. I go left now. You don't want to be that person pitting for the second or third line.
No, not at all. And some too, going to be interesting to see. Hawthorne and Leonard built a pretty decent fuel gap to everyone else, but with them leading the second pack, they definitely burned a little bit more than the rest of the field. So going to be interesting to see it throughout the pit stop cycle, how it works out, and if they stay out longer than they did last time. Because, they might necessarily not want to stay out as long because they saw, they got lucky with the second pack. If this second pack wasn't there, they would have definitely be out of the lead pack. And they're going to catch the lead pack. They're going down the back straightaway, right in the back bumper of Skog, and they're going to hop right in line. So they're going to have about 11, 12 car train. We got some guys going on the outside, though.
Yeah, that's Giuliano. Nobody wants to go with Giuliano, though. So they do elect to go to the back of the caboose and save fuel, and now they're stacking up. Skog lifted hard off the gas. Nearly got ran over on the huge checkup. Matt Haas happened to go to the outside with Giuliano to avoid it.
That's Skog, the only driver currently 1 lap down. They are starting to catch, though, Colin Grace, Christian Barker, and Ryan Kabastian. They're about a second, half a lap faster. They're going to catch them about 5 or 6 laps here, so it's going to be interesting to see when they catch them. It'll be right in the middle of that pit stop cycle. Might be able to leapfrog them, but pit stops, I think we're only seeing a handful of laps now.
Alex Penn looking to see if he can ride the elevator to the race lead. Is anybody willing to work with him? The answer is not yet. A lot of distance from the inside line as a result. Nobody willing to push and no one willing to force it past Penn.
That big gap now from 3rd to 4th. Brandon Devine to Alex Penn, about 3/10. Alex Aronson to the bottom of Alex Penn. Penn might just fall to the back of the lead pack here, going sliding right behind Matt Haas. No, still stuck on the outside. He's going to get freight trained here if it doesn't get to the bottom.
He already is right now. Might have a hole right behind the lap car. Giuliano already chatting on the radio about trying to get some spaces down. Matt Haas is the only one to be able to make that work from the second and third line. Everybody else is still trying to figure out what to do here. 2 laps away from the number expected for the fuel window.
That Penn on the outside trying to make up room. We got Mateo Juliano behind him trying to get the outside going. If they start checking up on the bottom, they'll be in prime position. Matt Haas thinks about pulling out. He's going to try to lead Alex Penn, but he's kind of going back and forth between that bottom and the top. So 27, Colin Grace is in. He's in that third pack, second pack, with that 3-car breakaway. So he's going to be actually in front of their leaders when they come around, but I don't think he's going to be a factor here at all. But going to be interesting to see where he comes out, though, in the middle of all of this.
Going to be interesting, though, who's going to come in this time by. So the second pack is amongst those getting ready for pit stops. Those about 37 seconds or so back. And he hands out the window this time. There is one. It's Skog. It looks like none of the lead lappers, though. Hands out the window next time by, though. Wembley and company ready to come in for the sequence.
Was that a hand or was that a finger?
No, the hand signal. You know, the one that says pit stop. Not the number 1 sign.
I'm used to seeing the number 1 sign when I'm racing, so.
Oh, that's very sad. But also, at least you're seeing as the number 1 sign and not the other interpretation.
That's all I'm saying. The competition loves me. They say I'm number 1 in their heart. So, Divine, though, they just said he has his hand out the window, currently running in third. So, going to see, I think, a bit of the lead pack coming this time. Might be juking each other out, though. Going to be interesting to see if they actually come down right at lap 60. Divine, yes. De Silva, yes. Wembley, yes. So, going to be 3 or 4 cars come down. And actually, they got, I believe, it's Kabastian and Aguilar in front of them.
So a simple pit stops procedure for 3 cars. Kabashian and Barker confirmed are in this time. Here's the wild thing, and let's not jinx it here, but no speeding penalties yet. And we're 61 laps in this time.
I think Alex Anderson just had to hold his Jack Daniels. So, oh God, contact almost the lap car. It's coming out of pits. Anderson got a push from Matt Haas, and I think about this turned him in the sky. That would have been catastrophic. I think that was definitely a little too close for comfort. Anderson stays out. Matt Haas, I think, going to be the only one in there. Holden Kaiser comes in, team with Mateo Juliano. Wow, I'm sure Skog and Alex Anderson are puckered up.
Well, a 3-car wave just happened on the racetrack. You're still keeping an eye, though, on those in the pit stop sequence itself. Charles Wembley has come out with the Silva. Looks like this pack hasn't broken apart. Divine is also still with it. In fact, Common Grace lost so much time after the pit stop cycle. He's now likely going to be mixed in with the race leaders by the time they finish the cycle.
Now looking at drivers that have already pitted, it's going to be interesting to see Wembley and Kaiser coming out just now. I'm sorry, Kaiser and Haas coming out just now. And a couple guys coming through the trial. So they're going to all stack up here on the backstretch. They're going to go around Haas, they're going to go around Matt Haas. Charles Wembley, I think, is going to be the leader when it all comes down to it. Hawthorne, Leonard, and Aguilar are playing the same game they have all race of pitting as late as they possibly can.
Your contact on the access road you've seen there. More pit stops coming up pretty soon, but as expected, Hawthorne and Leonard along with Aguilar yet again lined up astern. Story of a life being called as Penn looks to get the life of the run and lively to the front out of the pit stop cycle. So pit stops are looking to close up pretty soon here. We'd like to remind you, for those tuning in, that tonight's broadcast is brought to you by a couple different partners this evening, including Extreme Zone. Extreme Zone is delighted to offer thrill seekers several different outlets to be able to have high adrenaline fun, whether it's racing on a quarter-mile track, axe throwing, and more when it comes to their festivities. Endurance Karting's been around since 2001. Pro Cup Karting and Endurance Karting have partnered together since 2013 to provide the ultimate experience to arrive and drive karting. And Red Mist Podcast, podcasts that discuss F1, IndyCar, IMSA, NASCAR, own racing adventures, and more. Once again, your supporters for tonight's season opener for tonight's action here at Daytona.
Yeah,
Pit stop.
Wembley just arrived and drove his way to the front after this pit cycle was going to work their way through. Hawthorne and Aguilar all still off the pit, but Wembley is the highest running car currently of those that pit. And I think for the first time tonight, JP, we actually have the majority of the field kind of in a decent pack here.
Majority of the field is the key. Not everyone yet. These 3 are yet to finish the cycle. Right now, they are only on lap 20, by the way. Hawthorne and Leonard are. They've been very, very good here to the point where they've cut basically 10 laps if they keep this up. Never mind, they're pitting this time by. They have to come in. Leonard is coming, and Hawthorne, he's going deep on the entry. Last time he just avoided speeding. This time, nice and smooth as Aguilar went way too soft on entry. He just lost the draft from his entry.
I think it's going to hurt Aguilar big time. They were actually in pretty prime position to pull away from that lead pack as they were side by side. That lead pack was trying to pass or jump frog the other lead pack, and I think if it would have pit then it would have been great, but they got single file there. That lead pack was running 193, 194, when Hawthorne and Leonard were only running about 189. So here comes the lead pack through the trial. Well, now they're definitely going to get leapfrogged. The question is how much.
See where the cycles. Aguilar, as expected, passed. Hawthorne did win the race off the pit lane. Leonard did take an extra 2 seconds in the cycle. He's newly up the racetrack on the old tires. But it is Wembley who's able to hold on to the race lead. They have ditched the 2 favorites from last year's Super Speedway races. Hawthorne and Leonard have lost the draft at the end of the pit stop cycle. And on that note, we'll take a step aside. Final pit stops coming up around the corner. Already down to the final 34 laps at the stripe. You're watching TKC National Series action on Maconi Entertainment.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Maconi Entertainment as we continue on from Daytona, coming down to 31 laps to go. In the race lead still is Wembley, followed by De Silva, Devine, Anderson, Kauser, Penn, Giuliano, all amongst those on the lead lap in the main pack. 7 Hopthorne, Christian Leonard, and Kevin Aguilar have all lost the main draft, as well as Matt Haas in the penultimate pit stop cycle that just finished moments ago. Very likely going to see a different Super Speedway winner at the rate things look to be here, Braden. In the history of TKC, 7 Hawthorne needs a miracle to get back up here, but drivers like Wembley and De Silva have controlled this race.
Not just a different Super Speedway winner, but a new winner in general. Their entire top 5 has yet to win a TKC National Series race. Most of them have even yet to lead a lap in their careers in TKC National Series. So Wembley, though, coming in as the favorite late in the running this time, led most of the, the second half of this race so far. De Silva led quite a bit early on, though. He's been running quietly and calmly in second most of the night, kind of controlling Brand Divine. I think it'd be great if Brand Divine could start off the season with a win. He struggled big time last season, showed some moments of greatness. I think that would definitely be a great Divine moment for him.
A very punny answer to that. Very Divine. So divine of an answer indeed. Still with Anderson, by the way, in terms of on board, is 67. Staying in the line, and again, the more it stays like this, the better the fuel save, hence why everybody's running the bottom here instead of just the top line. They're thinking big picture and thinking about the time, especially fuel is time in a race like this tonight.
What's been really interesting is I don't think, outside of a couple oddities here and there, we've already seen anyone take tires. Talked about tire hours going to be a huge deal as the track has been a calm, cool, and collected 93 degrees for most of the night. Actually, it's cooled down a little bit, down to about 88. So tires, I'm sure these guys are really starting to feel it, especially as the later stages of this run. We're going to see people get more and more aggressive and more on that bumper, and you get less air on that rear spoiler coming off the corner, and I think they're going to be more prone to coming around. So I think tires might actually be a little bit of a difference here for those that took them earlier in this race versus those that didn't. I'm not sure who did. I know Colin Grace took some. He's one lap down. So Christian Barker, Grace, Sebastian, and Riley Skog all one or multiple laps down.
And so it honestly becomes a question here too. Eventually somebody's going to have to make a move here. Most people have chosen to just remain patient. What happens when we get to the point where you have a lot of people who have just stayed in a line of work together who no longer want to stay in a line of work together soon?
Yeah, I think you're going to be looking at who the first person is to move outside and see if they have friends. We talked about Hawthorne and Christian Leonard. They've been friends all night long, able to work together and make some moves together. They're not a lead pack anymore. I can't really look at this lead pack and tell you, who's worked well with each other in the past, because I don't think most of them really have that same relationship that Hawthorne and Leonard have with each other as far as trusting each other and willingness to push one another. So that's something you got to work with, is having someone that will push you and work with you no matter what line you go with. And so far, Teo Juliano peeking the outside of Cowser, gonna hop right back in line now.
No changes yet again. It looks like, too, they are about to lap Matt Haas in the next few laps as well, with how things continue to shape up on the racetrack. Looking like some of the lappers are saying, you know what, I want to get a lap back. Christian Barker is in the lucky dog spot. He needs a lot to happen to get that lucky dog if things hold, but better yet, he's not only trying to see what lines work, but also is going to have to race the 8 in a minute for that lucky dog.
Yeah, Matt Haas about to go a lap down kind of by himself, so running significantly slower just by himself, so he's going to get lapped. Everybody gets about next lap and a half, 2 laps, but he's on the Barker's on the tail end of this lead pack, so he'll be in the same pack with Matt Haas. And these two will be the only ones in the lead pack, only one down. So we're going to fight for that lucky dog if we get that caution. That's going to be a big if, though.
Right now to the outside. This time it's Giuliano. He goes for a little bit of side draft, and as Cowser hit the apron. Apologies over the radio again as Giuliano forced to burp out of the gas and try and get back to line.
3/4 of the way through the race this time by. Last season, this race had 5 cautions for 19 laps. So far, knock on wood, knock on metal, knock on everything around me. We've been caution-free, and Charles Wimby has been dominant the second half of the race. De Silva, though, knows how to get up front and in command, but with Divine behind him, not really to that back bump or pushing him, I think, the way Divine or the way De Silva wants, at least needs to. I think they're both content with kind of running single file for the most part. We talked about how numbers can be a huge effect here. To see Matt Haas there slowly getting swamped up. I think if anyone moves to the outside, you're going to have significant numbers. You can't do it with 3 or 4 cars. The numbers that the inside has, I think you're going to need at least half of the inside to go to the outside with it to make it work.
The field says hi and bye to Matt this time. Matt Haas gets let off the lead lap, or rather gets lapped from the lead lap back to 1 lap down. Barker stays in the lucky dog spot. An interesting thing to talk about here right before this pit stop cycle as well, to talk about. Paint schemes have been something to talk of the channels, so to speak, for tonight's festivities. A couple drivers did share their paint schemes for tonight. Holy Cowser, that paint scheme you see on the race car and the I believe that's an L, designs machine, will have one of 3 different color palettes, orange, blue, and white. He's gone with the white for the opener, but he's going to rotate with the colors this season.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car. I'll give him that for sure. Kind of reminds me of Caleb Costner in the ARCA series. That's a very similar base, design, color, and everything. So I'm not sure if that's where he based it off of, but very beautiful car indeed. I'm sure it'd look a lot more beautiful in victory lane for Cowser in his debut tonight. But so far, it's been the debut drivers kind of controlling the field. Wimby making his TKC National Series debut as well. I think he's definitely the favorite as of right now if you had to pick someone.
Some of the lap cars getting a little bit of racing before the pit stop cycle for the final time here. 18 laps into the stint. Matt Haas trying to get the battle for the lucky dog heating up a little bit. Some of those on the lead lap just trying to ride as they be. And there has already been a heads up on the pit stop. 2 laps out is the indication for the leader. Who follows him for the money stop here?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a great question. The more numbers you have, the better. This is where a race can go sideways south very quickly. Don't want to go sideways, don't want to get sideways, and you don't want to definitely go south. So no speeding. This is the money stop right here. No speeding, no mistakes. Don't miss your stop. and this is where they can easily win or lose the race.
I was about to say, we are in the South part of the country, in terms of the state as well. However, gonna have to keep it clean as we get to lap 80. Pit stops this time by Ryan Kilbashian is about to fall lap down 2. It's an interesting time as well. It looks like Divine will follow suit. Now the pit stop flurry about to pick up.
Yep, I think it's too late, but definitely a solid effort. Christian Leonard, Seven Hawthorne, and Kevin Aguilar, that 3-car, I guess, different tandem. They lost that lead pack. They've gained 2 to 3 seconds in the last 15 or so laps. They need to pick up a lot more, and with how crazy these pit stops might get, especially if they catch Ryan Kilbashian right as they're going to be coming in, this is going to shake things up big time. Wembley to the outside, you got David De Silva splitting them. So this might slow them down a little bit. This might allow Seven Hawthorne and Leonard to get back into the picture. Only 4 or 5 cars, though, coming down pit road.
No troubles on pit entry, it looks like. No speeding still in this field. So the pit stop cycle is underway for the final time here today. Others yet to pit include Anderson and Moore. Giuliano and Penn are still on the racetrack and are battling with lap cars. Race off the lane, right now won by Wembley.
I should have clarified 5 or 4 or 5 lead lap cars here. So Riley Scott includes that lead pack. That's a lap down Tamer Kabashian. So they're going to lose the lead pack actually here. Maybe or maybe not. But Wembley, they need to get bunched up quick if they want any chance of maintaining this lead and maybe even pulling away. So it's going to be about 4 or 5 cars. Brandon Devine, Sebastian, Cowser, De Silva, and Wembley. Aguilar, Hawthorne, and Leonard are still on track as well, trying to close up. So the rest of the field, though, coming down pit road, I believe. Yeah, Anderson's in, Matt Hostin, Alex Pennon, Juliano. So everyone else is going to be coming on in except for Leonard, Hawthorne, and Aguilar, who are going to try and hold this one out.
They entered 3 wide, by the way, at the cone, and somehow still sorted. Penn gets the advantage, though, out of this group. Where will they cycle compared to the main leaders? That's the biggest question on everybody's mind. Wembley, De Silva, and Cowser all are grouped together. Brandon Devine has lost the draft.
I think it's going to be a great breakaway for Anderson and Juliano and Penn. They're going to be a little decent gap here between them and Wembley. So Wembley and the company have the speed. They got to go around Matt Haas on the straightaway. I think they're definitely going to lose the lead just by virtue of there's only 2 or 3 of them. But it's going to be interesting to see if Wembley and them that they're going to catch up for sure. It's a matter of at what closing rate. There's a 3-wide pit entry there. Whew, that was crazy.
You have to communicate too, because you can't just turn left into some other cars too in the pit lane. They had to go to 3 wide. No one was able to get to the right side of the pit lane there. That was a bit touch and go. Right now, though, that touch and go to the pit lane, seen them have the 1 second buffer, though. That gap is already being reduced because Wembley, De Silva, and Cowser are in their draft wake, just about.
Yeah, Wembley is definitely in the draft of Juliano, Anderson, and Penn, trying to chase them down. And when they get it, they're going to have a huge run, 3 cars versus 3 cars. So Cowser, De Silva, and Wembley versus Juliano, Anderson, and Penn is going to be the lead battle. Unless Hawthorne, I believe, is going to cycle out. I'm not sure where he's going to cycle out, but I don't believe in the lead pack. He still has to pit. So it's going to be interesting, though, to see if they're able to maybe build a little bit of a gap compared to everyone else. Their lap times are actually a little bit quicker, so they might close up on them. It's going to be interesting, though, to see where they fall in line. They're still, though, a couple of laps out from pitting.
There's already the thought, too, of if they're able to save maybe 2 to 3 seconds in the lane, that might help them a little bit. Still, here's the problem. That's still not going to be enough, I think, Braden, for any of those drivers because of the fact they lost the draft to have a shot at the race win. Quite simple as that if you are in those staying out still.
Something I like about Hawthorne, Leonard, and Aguilar is they're going to go to about lap 90 and not to take anywhere near as much fuel as other guys did. And that's going to save them a ton of time on pit road. And right now, they're actually about a half second to a second quicker than the lead pack, just because the lead pack is trying to figure each other out, push each other. But there's only 2 or 3 cars in that lead pack, and then you have Wembley, De Silva, and Cowser in their 3-car pack trying to catch the leader. So they don't have the same numbers in. So we got 54 in this time.
That's 43. Yes, Christian Leonard is in, so is Hawthorne. So this is now the pit cycle closed. The 2 packs have also just about fully closed up. So it looks like Hawthorne and Leonard will not get enough into their speed to be able to keep up with these cars. In fact, they're already getting zipped by. Here comes the run for Wembley. Wembley now with De Silva looking to the outside, and a block by the 30.
Penn going to take the outside lane in front of Wembley. Wembley going to check up. De Silva having to check up behind them. They're side by side for the lead. So it's 6-car breakaway, 6-car battle. Holding Cowser trying to catch back up. He's going to do so. 4 cars on the outside, 2 on the bottom. Juliano and Anderson, they're going to fall back here.
4 drivers up on the top side, 2 on the bottom. Most drivers have tried to keep this in the back pocket. The speed is there against the wall. Now they look to use the wall to their advantage. Wembley looking for the side draft. Now coming down to 14 laps to go. It's Wembley to the point.
The Alex Penn's going to fall to the back of the lead pack here, stuck to the outside by himself. Wembley leading over to Silva and Cowser. These 3 have been a perfect group, perfect dancing mates all night long. And then the final stage of this one, I think we'll see some friendships start to get hurt here. But Wembley continues to lead over to Silva.
Another run this time. This time it's Giuliano taking it, but no one to help him. Side drop back from Anderson. And now the reset back on. Now the bump draft on. How do they play this now? We've now seen the pack splinter from all the fighting.
So every driver in this lead pack, except for Alex Penn, is looking for their first TKC National win. So I'm sure the fighting, the bumping, the leaving their friend on the bottom lane by himself, it's definitely going to be through the roof here in the final handful of laps of this one. So far, though, all single file. They don't have the numbers to really get side by side too wide throughout the whole pack. They do have some lap traffic that's going to help them out a little bit. That's Colin Grace going to go 2 laps down. So the more cars they can get, the more lap cars they can get, definitely going to make it more interesting. I don't think they're going to catch anyone else, though, the rest of the race.
Coming up to 12 laps to go at the stripe. 12 circuits to get the job done here at Daytona. Right now, nobody willing to step out. When do you make the move?
I mean, you got to try to time it with it not having it. Caution's going to change everything. Oh, my Lord.
And it was that second pack. Christian Leonard has had a crash after blowing a motor. And we're under yellow for the first time tonight.
Wow. I can't believe it. That was... Oh, wow. This is... if we can get a replay of it. That was a lot bigger than it should have been. Leonard says he doesn't know that his car got hot. That just blew up.
There's a digital dash for that. But let's see what happened. Remember, Leonard's been trying to push Hawthorne for a lot of time in this race. Believe we're a little bit further back than for the main incident point here.
Yeah, it's back on lap 88 going into turn 3. So they were all single file trying to catch up that lead or lead pack. Most of them are 1 lap down. So Leonard was actually in line to get the lucky dog. There's a wreck there. It's going to be a lot bigger, I feel like, than it should have. And it just kind of, when you're by yourself, and I don't want to say by yourself, but when you blow up, all of a sudden you're going 180, 190. They were actually 200. You see the replay. They're going 200 miles an hour into the corner. Leonard running back bumper of 7 Hawthorne. He blows up right there, and then into the Divine. Here comes Sebastian down into Sebastian. Matt Haas right to the back of him. So that should have been a single car incident, and Leonard collects 3 others, says, I'm taking all down with me. So fortunately, I think most of you guys should be able to get a fast pair if they haven't taken it already. I don't imagine they have. Here's another accident, or angle of the accident. Yeah, that was a lot bigger than it should have. Leonard just kind of, you feel hopeless in a moment like that when the car just kind of shuts off. They can't really do anything. You got a big pack behind you. To try to go out of everyone's way. Unfortunately, just caused more chaos than you definitely intended. I don't think Leonard by any means intended to take out the extra 3 cars with him. It just kind of happened. So this is going to change everything, though.
And it looks like some drivers are concerned on gas after what they put in the tank. Wembley is in, and it looks like as well a chance for people to put on fresh tires for what will be essentially a 9-lap, make it 8-lap dash to decide this winner.
We got 3 guys standing out, De Silva, Kaiser, and Anderson, all about 10 laps in their tanks. So they're going to be good on fuel, minus any green white checkers. We got 3 of them. So even if we do pit now and take a full load of fuel, you might not have enough for 3 green white checkers. It's going to be interesting to see how that one comes into effect and how many caution laps we have. But I mentioned, you got to be able to strategize your tire sets. Guys only had 3. I don't think many took tires throughout the race. But De Silva, Kaiser, and Anderson have, roughly 80, 90 laps, if I had to guess, on their tires. So this is going to be huge on this restart, having that older rubber compared to that fresher rubber getting up to speed quicker.
Lucky dog this caution period, by the way. Christian Barker in the 99 machine. He was not involved in the incident. He's the only other driver a lap down. He will get on the lead lap for a 10-car battle for the race win. So this really does change the moves. So how do you plan this out now? It's our first restart of the night.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see how this one works out for these guys. They were all single file beforehand, and they were all broken apart. Only 6 cars in that lead pack. But now it's going to give guys like Seven Hawthorne, Kevin Aguilar, Devine, and Christian Barker a chance, a fighting chance, a moment of hope. And if we can get into that green white checker territory, that'll give guys like Matt Haas and Colin Grace even a fighting shot at it. So rough start to the season for Leonard. He was one of the final 4 going into the finale last season. Won his way in, was very dominant late in the season, and it was a rough start to him last season, and another rough start for this season.
So to reset your field here as we get ready for the 1 to go signal, it's De Silva, Kaiser, Anderson who stay out. Wembley, Giuliano, Hawthorne, Penn, Devine, and Aguilar all took 4 tires to be able to give themselves some more grip to close it out. Interestingly enough, the sunshine is still mostly out. We haven't gone to the darkness we may have been thinking if there were more cautions.
Haven't gone to the dark side, Leonard. Oh my lord! About took the back bumper off of someone getting his laps back. So that's something they do here in TKC. They give waiver runs to everyone. So it's actually going to help out a ton of guys. Sebastian and Skog, Colin Gray should all get back on the lead lap, and maybe I don't think Leonard's going to get back on the lead lap, but he's going to be only 1 or 2 laps down. If another caution comes out, he'll get back on the lead lap. But he about took the back bumper off of Kaiser there. I don't think they expected Leonard to be coming around the outside, and come around the outside he did.
So they're now sorting each other out here with all this. The field is in control of the leader in the restart zone. And now it's a chance to be able to break through to start off the season. Who's your pick for an 8-lap dash?
I gotta go with the man, the myth, the legend, Seven Hawthorne.
Why?
I mean, he knows how to be up front. He knows how to lead. He's going to be restarting there in that 5th or 6th spot there in that 3rd row. And he knows how to get up front and be dominant. He doesn't have the help of Christian Leonard right away. He's going to be at the back of the pack. But even though Leonard is 1 lap down, he can still change the outcome.
Let's find out how this goes. Once again, De Silva in control for the restart. 8 laps to go from Daytona. Barney with the green in hand. Kaiser trying to line himself up from the high side.
He wrecked in the back. Oh my gosh.
They know he stacked it. Still green, green, green. 8 laps to go and the pushing is on.
Christian Leonard with some heavy front damage. He slid it in the back bumper. Matt Haas there catching the field, so I don't think he's going to have any shot at it. He's already 1 lap down. Kaiser to the outside with help from Wembley. Get a big push, though, to the outside. They have no help whatsoever behind them. 2 by 2 by 2 for the lead.
Kowser getting a lot of help from the 3. Kowser up to 5th gear. He's clear for the race lead. Hoeing Kowser with the point. Coming at 7 laps to go.
They're going to get a huge breakaway here from 3rd place of Mateo Juliano. Juliano on second for his first win. Hawthorne, though, knows how to get it done. We talked about him up to 3rd already. He's going to push Wembley off of turn 4. Wembley with a nice bump there by Hawthorne, able to keep it straight. Wembley to the point.
Wembley's been playing this all night long, but you know who's now the pusher in all this? 7 Hawthorne. 7 looked very much out of contention before his caution flag period allowed him to be able to get in the conversation again. 6.5 laps to go, this time by Hawthorne. Looking for a way to poke, nowhere to poke yet.
Hawthorne's friend Leonard, though, is pushing buddy, still in the back of the pack, trying to work his way up to the front to help Hawthorne. They're 3 wide back here for 10th. Matt Haas and a company, Kevin Aguilar, and a couple others. Contact with De Silva. De Silva has fallen off like an anchor way down outside the top 5, so rough go around for De Silva.
6 to go as they settle back in at the back.
200 miles an hour through the travel for Hawthorne and Wembley. Gonna have to watch that temperature gauge, though. Doesn't want to have the same repeat as Leonard. He was running back bumper there of Wembley, pulling away from Hoeing Kowser and Alex Anderson. Single file most of the way through the top 5. Mateo Juliano, first one peeking his nose out.
Back to 5.5 laps to go. Looks like a lot of conversations about pushes. Giuliano has no one to push yet. Anderson trying outside, nowhere to go. Now the top 3 have a small buffer.
And these guys try and get sorted out. Who wants to push who wants to make friends, who wants to abandon them. Top 6 single file breakaway now, actually, from the second group, it seems. Yeah, Matt Haas and Christian Leonard, De Silva, Penn, Aguilar have all fallen off the lead pack. So a 6-car breakaway, including Juliano, Devine, Anderson, Kowser, Hawthorne, and Wembley. Calling come down to these 6 drivers unless something crazy happens.
4.5 laps to go. Hawthorne continues to shove the 3. Kowser waits in the popcorn seat. When does Hawthorne pop out himself? He's perfect when it comes to these super speedway races. He does not have his help. Leonard is still in the 3rd pack.
That's 7 Hawthorne waiting for that perfect moment to pull out. Doesn't have any help from behind, though. Kowser about carving off his back bumper. Though Hawthorne pushing Wembley cross line once again, 196, 197 through the tribal. These cars are absolutely flying in the final stages of this one. Still pulling away, though, from that second pack a little bit. But I think they've caught on to Mateo Juliano, who's fallen back a little bit. So this second pack might come into contention here.
Here comes a block by Hawthorne. Everybody trying to block. Into the wall goes Hawthorne. Wembley trying to block 2-3 lanes at once. Brandon Devine jumps up for 3rd. Anderson is the one who loses help. Here comes Matt Haas. Hawthorne now gets help from Devine.
Second pack closed up big time in that first pack, and there's nowhere to go. Wembley's falling back fast. He's going to get split, stuck to the bottom, almost split 3 wide. Here comes Brandon Devine to the bottom of 7 Hawthorne. Final stages this one. Here comes Brandon Devine. He has hope from Wembley on the bottom. There got Matt Haas pushing those 2.
Side by side for the race lead, the battle with Toyotas. Now the push outside, given for the 91. Kowser in the Camaro. Now the hard shove, right in the middle of the corner exit. Hawthorne holds the grip. Kowser gets them both clear. Does he ditch the 18? Not yet. Anderson able to jump back to 3rd. 2.5 laps to go.
Devine on the inside going to fall back. It's all 7 Hawthorne and Hoeing Kowser on the outside. They have Anderson pushing them and Mateo Juliano behind those 3. Top 4 have pulled away now from that inside line, coming to that final couple laps to go. Alex Penn now joining that outside friction as well. Going to stack up big time. Here comes Alex Penn and Juliano to the bottom.
He's got a lot of help from the champion. Down to 2 laps to go. If we take the white flag, it's simply a race to the checkered. Hawthorne now moves down to the middle. Kowser no place to clear it on down himself. Giuliano gets a shove from the battle of the Camaros. Now here comes a 4-car tandem as now the 43 of Leonard tries to get the outside moving.
bumpers are glued together the entire way through the field, bottom and top, and in the middle. No one pushing it 3 wide yet. Hawthorne leading the outside. If we get to the white flag, we're racing back no matter what. Who wrecks, who wins, we're going to get there. Coming off a turn 4, everyone's able to keep it straight for the most part.
White flag is out. Final time around here on Maconi Entertainment, the TKC National Series Daytona 250. It comes down to this. Hawthorne, Kowser up in front of the main pack. Anderson trying to find a way to poke. Where do they go?
Hudano leading the inside, 7 Hawthorne to block. He's actually going to block Anderson as well. Hudano to the apron, 3-4 wide through the field. They're going to start stacking up, start wrecking. Hawthorne, though, still leads the field 5 wide in the middle of this pack, and there they go.
One driver spins onto the grass. It's Alex Penn. He came out of the conversation. They slide in the back. Up front, Christian Leonard hooks up with his teammate. Hawthorne gets a big shove from Christian Leonard. De Silva tries to get a run. It's too late. 7 Hawthorne is 4 for 4 on super speedways. He wins the season 2 opener.
Shades of season 1, 7 Hawthorne and Christian Leonard hook up together. The teammate trio sitting there. I don't guess when it really be trio. We got one driver there in front of their leaders. I don't know who that was. I believe that was Alex Anderson. I found a ramp somewhere in the infield, maybe with someone's RV, and Ejecto Citoed Cuz into the outside wall. But like you mentioned, 4 for 4 for 7 Hawthorne. Had help from Leonard there. I don't know where Christian Leonard came from, but these two are going to celebrate, I'm sure, pretty good tonight.
Well, Leonard finishes off in 11th. It's another team win when it comes to them on the plate races and the taper spacer events. The pole sitter gets it done to hold on when it matters most. And that's the tough part. Getting the win in this package, in those chaotic moments, 7's got the experience for it.
I think that's exactly the good way to put it. He wasn't in contention at all, except for when he really needed to be.
The teammates look to burn it on down. 7 to the grass, and he missed it. He nearly spun it right into the 43 instead. It's burnout time for the Toyotas here on Maconi Entertainment. 7 Hawthorne starts off the season with the W. We'll be speaking to your top 3 in just a moment. You're watching Maconi Entertainment for coverage of the TKC National Series here from Daytona.
Want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Daytona. Let's take a look at your results for the TKC season opener here on iRacing and on Maconi Entertainment. In the end, it's Seven Hawthorne who takes the win. He gets it with the help of a teammate. David De Silva finishes second. Alex Anderson, your top three. We'll speak with them in just a few moments. Kevin Aguilar, followed by Howie Kauser in your top five. Mateo Giuliano finished in sixth, with Brandon Devine in seventh. Matt Haas finished off in the top 8. Alex Penn and Charles Wembley, your top 10 from Daytona.
That Christian Leonard helped his friend Seven Hawthorne get to the lead, and not to the lead, but to the win at least. There, he's going to finish 11th. First car, 1 lap down, led 4 laps, and route to the 11th place finish. Christian Barker, one of 3 drivers with no incident points tonight. He's going to be 1 lap down. Though Colin Grayson 13th, Riley Skog 1 lap down also, as well as Ryan Kabashian. Kabashian led 8 laps, had a great run going. Unfortunately, though, it's not the run he wanted. He's going to be the last place driver in 15th.
We already have our top finishers standing on by. Let's start things off tonight, though, with your king of the super speedways, Seven Hawthorne. It sounds like he's in the midst of a celebration still. Seven, you get it done at Daytona. It's 4 for 4 in the super speedways, but a win to start season 2.
Yeah, it was amazing. I couldn't believe it. I kind of felt really nervous when we didn't have our help, so I knew I had to go up there and defend myself. But all in all, it was first stage of the race was pretty boring, I won't lie. We had to save fuel and run so slow, and then once it got to the final stage, everyone was lights out. So thank you to the 43 car, even a lap now, and Christian, he was able to get up there somehow, and I saw him in the mirror, and I knew once I pulled up in front of him, I pretty much had it, but had a lot of fun. Really nice to start off season 2 with a win. New season, same goals, so great to come out here, start off with a win, and we'll be running the full season, so hopefully we can keep the points lead and figure out more about this new car.
Just enough, also your first pole of the night here, or your career at TKC, should say, here this evening. But how was it trying to figure out this car in turn with the next gen package for the super speedways? Very different compared to the Grand National car.
Yeah, with the Grand National car, since we had tape on the grill, you couldn't push as long with the last season's car. But this season, with no tape, you're able to push pretty hard, and you can really lock bumpers with this car. So me and Christian practiced that. We run a lot of races together, outside of TKC. So we had a plan coming in tonight, and we executed. Pretty disappointed that he didn't get a top 3 with me, but really happy that one of our cars won. So hopefully this momentum will carry forward, and hopefully I'll be in the same position at Auto Club, coming back talking to you with another win.
Well, next time out, it's Auto Club indeed. So what's your approach for the 50-lapper at the 2-mile speedway?
Well, last season at Auto Club, I feel like what I really struggled on was tire management. I felt fast. I think it was me, Jake Ennis, and Christian Leonard battling, and it was the 85 car. And on the short run, I was right there with them, but I faded away on the long run. So going to try to figure out Auto Club, figure out how to save tires so we can be right up there battling for the win again.
Who do you want to thank for the win tonight?
Thanks to the 43 car. I mean, even a lap down, came on the outside, pushed me home. He always works well with me. Thanks to my dad. Now watch this. He always gets me fired up before the race, gets me feeling confident. So really appreciate him and just everyone that puts on TKC. Really happy to be here for season 2. Hoping to fill in a lot of unchecked boxes this season.
Well, on that note then, congratulations once again on the victory here tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Seven Hawthorne gets the victory here this evening. Second spot on the pylon tonight. With the direction of one David De Silva, he is with Braden.
David has a career night. You brought it home second tonight. What more did you think you really needed to beat Hawthorne there? I mean, it was chaos, and early in the race, you showed a lot of great run or speed, and unfortunately, come up one spot shy.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great race overall. I was mostly in that lead pack for most of the race. I was very grateful to have some people on my side, Charles Wimbley and Brandon Devine, some notably. And yeah, just unfortunately on that last restart, I couldn't get the run that I wanted, and I was honestly ready to give up when I started dropping all the way down. But then I just tucked in behind Seven and Christian. And I had a feeling that they were gonna push their way to the front, and luckily I was able to make that happen. So with that being said, having dropped back all the way, I'm perfectly content with the second place. As much as I wanted to try and go for the win, considering where I had gone from in the span of what 3 laps, it was definitely a roller coaster those last couple laps.
That he fell down as low as ninth at one point. You were 3-4 wide going down the backstretch. You can bring it home second. Great start to the season. You plan on running the full season. We know you made a limited attempt last time out. So are you planning on running the full season? If so, talk about kind of how a second place start, I guess, the season means a lot.
Yeah, I do plan on running the full season. Last season, it was timing problems, and this season everything's been open, so I should be able to run pretty much every single race here. Um, as for the second place, I think it's a strong start. I mean, it is restrictor plate racing, so the intermediates and the short tracks are going to be really where talent shines. But I don't doubt the super speedway races that are left on the calendar that are still going to be good. I hope to try and get at least top fives each race. Just keep working on my pace, and hopefully make some friends that can help me along the way in the races.
Speaking of making friends that can help you along the way, anybody want to thank and route to the second place finish here tonight?
Uh, like to thank my parents making this whole racing thing happen. The first thing, and then just all the guys who race here. Everybody has really great pack racing. Um, and it was really fun to race with everybody tonight. And I hope for some more good races the rest of the season.
Well, once again, congratulations on second place, Ron. Definitely a great way to start the season.
Thank you very much.
That was David De Silva.
Now the third place here tonight went the way of one Alex Anderson. And Alex, talk to us your emotions coming into the final laps of that one, what you were thinking as things got wild.
Checking back at the replay, honestly, I mean, I knew it was gonna be hell on the last lap. It was just gonna be completely insane. But looking back, I mean, sitting there third on the outside when we take the white flag, I'm going into one, and I'm like, all right, as soon as I can get in front of the 87, that's what I'm doing. Because I figured I could get under the 91, maybe get a decent run on the 18. I knew he would block it, which he did, which kind of stalled out the rest of my momentum. So I was just basically riding out the rest of the lap and just ended up coming home with P3. So I'll take a podium, no doubt. First race of the season. I think it was my first race in this series, but um, yeah, I'll definitely take it. I mean, overall, I feel like it was just a good representation of what the next gens do in real life. The first 95 laps are kind of the final 5 were incredible.
I don't know if you realize this, by the way. You got the fastest lap of the night, a 45. Yeah.
My spotter told me that. I don't know what lap he did, but I do remember seeing that notification. I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, 45.331 on lap 94.
Yeah, the average miles an hour on that, 198 miles an hour. So you're going zoom zoom.
Yeah, that sure as hell was. I didn't even realize that.
So next race, we go zoom zoom from California. Your thoughts on, I don't know if the phrase would be old gen California. The track is currently called next gen California for the short track, but we're at the 2 mile. So old gen.
Well, I'm looking forward to a talent track, definitely, as opposed to a super speedway. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to Auto Club. I've done league races here or there earlier. I'm hoping that we go later in the day because I did a league race there a little while ago, and let's just say my right rear wasn't too happy with me after we ran around at noon when track temp was like 120 degrees. So I'm hoping that I can maybe figure out the tires and just get a good run there and just keep the consistent results.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to here tonight?
My parents definitely, obviously. Nothing I'd be able to do without them. The guys that throw on the league, I mean, give us a decent show every Monday nights. There's not much more you can ask for, and I'm probably just you guys um for putting on these streams for us. And you know what? We're gonna give a shout out to Drive Through Davin Cornelius making my paint schemes. I actually have 2 more commissions he's working on, but he made the car I was racing out here tonight. So shout out to him as well.
Congratulations once again on the podium.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Alex Anderson closes out the top 3 here tonight. I'd like to thank the whole top 3 for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on Maconi Entertainment. On that note, Braden, your final thoughts on Daytona this evening?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I picked it, I stick with it, and I called it throughout the whole race. That 7 Hawthorne come on Victor Lane. And, you know, we go to Talladega, week 13. I'm sure we're going to see 7 once again, big contender there. And then, once again, back to Daytona to start a playoff. So, 7 Hawthorne is going to be a threat all season long for a lot of these guys. They're going to have to worry about him all season long.
On that note, we get ready to say goodbye here. I'd like to remind you that tonight's action was brought to you in part by Maconi Setup Shop and Entertainment, home for setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, event promotion, and more. The iRacing Service, the official setup shop of eNASCAR. By the Touring Kart Championship, around since 2021. Learn more by going to touringkartchampionship.com to register and compete this summer. Also brought to you by Extreme Zone. Once again, be sure to learn more about them and how you can get your thrills seeked by different outlets of different ways to utilize their high adrenaline fun. By Endurance Karting, around since 2001. Be sure to take part as you look to get the ultimate experience in arrive and drive kart racing. And by Red Mist Podcast. Learn more about them as they discuss motorsports across multiple different sports and from the sim world and from the personal world. On that note, it's time to get ready to say goodbye once more here tonight. We'll see you next time out when we go to Auto Club Speedway, May the 13th. It's an 8 p.m. start, 8:15 to be more precise. We'll see how things play out at Auto Club for week number 2 next week here on Maconi Entertainment. Once again, coming to the action tonight was myself, Justin Pertz, alongside Brendan Laster. Christian Hill was in the booth for the productions tonight. Thanks to all our viewers for watching tonight's racing action. I hope you stay tuned to our social media pages for next race. Thanks to the entire staff for bringing this work and bringing this racing to you tonight. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time when we go racing from Fontana, California.
Want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.